Hello, my name is Jonathan Janz, and I am extremely sunburnt from being in the sun at my daughter's softball game yesterday. Also, trying to put in a fence. I won't give you all the gore details, but I need this right now, probably more than you need this reading, because I need a diversion. One of my daughters is sick. She's upstairs, just got her some SpaghettiOs. I think that's the number one recommended food for sick people, right? And I've been also trying to put this, it's like 25 feet. We have a privacy fence, and there's 25 feet that we left undone years ago. We decided we were going to do it. Got a quote for it, like $3,000. I'm like, seriously? I can put in a fence. No problem. Oh my gosh. This is so frustrating. I just washed the concrete off my hands. It's out there setting. I have no idea what I'm going to find. It's been a complete disaster from beginning to where we are now. So, like I said, I need this diversion. This is going to be hopefully fun. Sadie, thank you so much for having me. This is from, at some point it'll be coming from Cemetery Dance, either in 2021 or 2022. It's called The Dismembered. It is a historical horror novella, about 400 words shy of a novel. I think it's like 39,600 words. And I really like it. And it allows me to do some really bad accents, which it doesn't get better than that. So indulge me while I read the very first few pages of this, and here we go. I'm trying to take my mind off the setting concrete. What's happening out there? What mystical process is taking place? Okay. 1. I was brooding in my compartment when I first heard Sarah Coyle speak. Had my brain not been so clouded by unhappiness, I might have found the voice dulcet, even angelic. But life had colored my thinking in an unpleasant way. Accordingly, the only emotion I discerned in the voice from the adjacent boxcar compartment was distress. I tilted my head to listen. "It's none of your concern," the young woman was saying. "When I step out of the car for a bite to eat and find my granddaddy's watch missing," came the reply, "it most certainly is my concern." The man's voice was guttural, though not entirely uncultured. I judged the interlocutor an individual of early middle age, a laborer, perhaps, who believed himself above his station, and whose perspective was tainted by bitterness and resentment. Further, the man's diction was slightly slurred by drink. Rage and drunkenness, I thought, a combustible brew. I sat forward, listening. The woman asked, "Why would I covet your timepiece, sir?" The rustle of clothing, the clink of steel. "I have a perfectly functional one on my person." Something hungry permeated the man's voice. "Ah, so you do. A bauble like that could fetch 20 quid in London." My internal alarms began to sound. The man was a scoundrel, one who preyed on the vulnerable. I set my book aside, E.A. Poe's Tales of the Arabesque and Grotesque, preparatory to rising. Still, I was eager to hear how the young woman would respond. Her voice was marble strong, though I detected a subtle undercurrent of fear. "If you come any closer, I'll ring for the porter." The man chuckled. "You may ring the porter all you like. He's no larger than my sister's lapdog." I crept to the doorway. "And what will you do?" the young woman challenged. "Rob me? Pillage my belongings?" "Now that's a fine idea. I was going to leave it at that Benson watch, but the more I look at you, the more I reckon you can donate to the cause." "And what cause is that?" "Keeping your snowy white ass alive," the man growled. I stepped around the corner. The scene I beheld was straight out of a Dickens novel. Hulking thug in heavy brown work clothes, towering over a radiant blonde woman in a flowing pink afternoon dress. I paused, discomfited not only by the brute's immense girth, but by the young woman's appearance. It wasn't mere beauty that so muddied my thoughts. It was her uncanny kinship to my ex-wife. Though in most respects the young woman resembled no one I had encountered The supple pink skin, the long slender neck, and the general air of stubborn independence all reminded me of the woman who had humiliated me. The woman who had caused me to flee Boston. "What's this?" the brute demanded, favoring me with a pale countenance as coarse and cunning as his voice. Black whiskers coated his jawbone like a dusting of soot. His teeth were as uneven as they were yellow, the eyes as gray and soulless as musket balls. But it was the brow to which my gaze was most compellingly drawn. Ridged, dark, as broad as a clipper mast, the forehead twitched and undulated as the man spoke, as though it were a being apart, a dutiful sycophant delighting in its hero's advantage. "Looks to me," the man said, "like we got ourselves a cockish little wench." I held my tongue, not yet trusting myself to answer coherently. The contrast between the woman's unnerving beauty and the man's rampant aggression was proving a heady combination. "You forget something in here?" the brute asked. "Like maybe you dropped your parasol on the way past?" He batted his eyelashes. I glanced at the young woman, who watched me with an expression I couldn't interpret. "It's the funniest thing," I said. "I was reading a story just now about a man, at least I assume it's a man. Sometimes an individual will engage in such wretched behavior you suspect he's a mongrel dog, whose besetting sin was drink. He took to philandering and inhabiting the most decadent haunts imaginable." "Ah," said the brute with a smirk, "an American. Tell me, is it true you all rut with your horses after a long day of idleness?" "This narrator," I went on, "he's stewing in a den of more than infamy," the author's words. My goodness, what a craftsman. When he becomes aware of something staring at him from atop a barrel of ale. Do you know what it was? "A prancing schoolmaster with twitchy fingers." "A cat," I said. More to the point, an enormous black cat, one without a single white hair on its body. The narrator takes the animal home, where the man's wife makes of it a household favorite. And I think I'm supposed to get this done within 8 minutes. So it's about 7:33 and counting. And I think the concrete might have cured by now. Oh my goodness, I'm so nervous. So many, what do they say? The people who die in Return of the Jedi, Bothans, something like that, to get this information. So many have died to get to this point in the fence, but it's 8 minutes. So I hope you all are having a beautiful day. Sadie, thank you so much for inviting me. You rock. I will talk to you all soon. Peace.